Right, I'm gonna make another video, and this one's gonna be about the Sabbath day. It's gonna be a rebuke to the Christians and to the Torah movement in Judah, in the respect of they pollute it and keep it from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, even though it's well documented that they brought that back from Babylon. Yet there's people we see all the time that still do it and don't seem to understand, even through scripture, that day begins at dawn. But on the other hand, the left hand, the Christians, believe that you just don't have to keep it at all because they're lawless. You know, they've done away with the Ten Commandments. They think they don't have to keep it. Well, we're going to go through some scriptures to prove otherwise. Bear in mind when I read these again, like in the last video, you're grafted into Israel, so this all applies. Right then, so we're going to start in Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days thou shalt labour and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath day of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy maidservant, nor manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger which is within thy gates. For 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day, wherein the Lord blessed. So he's blessed the seventh day. So that's really important to keep in mind, isn't it? If the Father, Jehovah, blesses something, I think it's of importance. So, bless the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So we're going to jump up to Exodus 31. Ooh, it's weird. Straight there. Praise Yah. Exodus 31, verse 16. Wherein the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generation for a perpetual covenant. So, something perpetual means, you know, ongoing. So how has it been done away with? God says it's perpetual. And this is the key part for everyone who thinks, oh, we don't have to keep Sabbath anymore, it's done away with. As again, they like to say, Jesus is my Sabbath. Yeah, we'll get into that. So it's a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. From 6 days, see again, forever. I don't know why people think that forever means no. Like, forever doesn't mean forever. I don't know. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. And he gave it unto Moses when he had made the end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, where the 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of God. So the 10 Commandments, right? Like we covered in the last video. Verbally given at Horeb, physically given at Sinai. Right, so we'll jump up to Deuteronomy 5. Verse 12. And again, keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as the Lord thy God has commanded thee. 6 days thou shalt labour and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath day of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thine ox, nor thine ass, nor any cow, nor the stranger that is within your gates. Thy maidservant, manservant, and thy maidservant may rest as well as that. Sorry, I keep getting these mixed up. It's been a long day. Right. So, that's Deuteronomy 5. Now, we are going to jump up to Isaiah 56. And this is my favourite verse. This is what got me to start keeping Sabbath. And I hope and pray to Yah that this convicts one of his sheep, or whoever has ears to hear, like it did me. Right, so Isaiah 56. Thus saith the Lord, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my Yeshua is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. By the way, go look up salvation in the Strong's Concordance and see how salvation means Yeshua, and it's mentioned 167 times. Amazing. That blew my mind when I found that out. So definitely worth having a look at. Is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Blessed is the man that doeth this, and the Son of Man that layeth hold on it, that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and keep his hand from doing any evil. Right, so don't do your own pleasure on the Sabbath day. It's not about that. That'd be profaning it. Don't go down the football. Don't go to the pub. Don't do anything like that. If you're really convicted and truly wanted to keep the Sabbath, you wouldn't be thinking of that anyway. But just keep in mind that the Sabbath day, it's a holy feast day. So get your nose in this book and gather with other believers, sharpen iron with them, like we're going to get to, like they did in the synagogues. Every Sabbath day was the law of Moses read. So, right. Let's crack on with this anyway. Neither let the son of the stranger that has joined himself to the Lord speak, saying, the Lord hath utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. For thus saith the Lord unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbath, and choose the things that please me, and take hold of my covenant. Again, it doesn't get more obvious than this, does it? Covenant. Even to them will I give it in mine house, within my walls, a place and a name better than of sons and daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. So there you go, right there. Oh, don't have to keep it. Even though he's telling you that he'll give you a place in New Jerusalem. So I think you have to keep it, don't you? If you want to enter into New Jerusalem. And also to the sons of the stranger that join themselves to the Lord, to serve him, and to love the name of the Lord, to be his servant, everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and taketh hold of my covenant. See again. Even them will I bring to my holy mount, New Jerusalem, and make them joyful in my house of prayer. I'm just going to end it right there. So there you go then. Jehovah's telling you right there, if you keep my Sabbath, amongst his covenant in general, you keep the 10 Commandments, you do what's pleasing to me, which is righteous judgment. God delights in judgment. So that's loving your neighbour as yourself. Judge the cause of the fatherless and the widow. And we're going to jump up to Isaiah 58 now, sorry. And we're going to go down to verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, see, holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight. See, I don't know why people call it like, oh, it's a burden. Like, you know, it's such a blessing. It's such a blessing. Like, God blessed us with this day of rest as a sign between him and his people. And people just go, nah. Well, they've perverted it anyway, haven't they, the Christians? They go worship on Sun God Day, you know. Oh, man. Which, again, a quick Google search will show you that Rome changed the Sabbath day. So the great whores changed God's holy days. Well, i.e., you know, the devil pulling the strings, but... And it's even in the name, Sunday. And it just goes... But it's not surprising, is it? Because their eyes are shut and they're dull of hearing. So, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord, honourable, and thou shalt honour him, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, but speaking thine own words. Thou shalt delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. So he's telling you right there, keep my Sabbath, and I'll bless you. You know, the Sabbath, gather with other believers, sharpen iron, swap talents, learn. That's what it's about. It's about doing his good pleasure. And it's such a blessing. I'm so glad I started keeping it. Trust me, once you do, your eyes are opened up so much more to this. But obviously, that's the 4th commandment. There's 10 of them you have to keep. But this is a very, very important one. So, we're going to jump down to Mark 2, 27, 28. And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Therefore, the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath. Right, now this is where the Christians twist it up. And I think it's Matthew 12 where they really err. You know, when they think, oh, because Yeshua said he's Lord of the Sabbath, that means he's my Sabbath. It means he's Lord of the Sabbath because he rose on the Sabbath day, not Sunday. Crucified on Wednesday, count 3 days from Wednesday to Saturday, and that's when he rose. Not Friday to Sunday. How does that even work? Like 2 + 2 = 5. It's just like, how do you get 3 days from Friday to Sunday? Like, by basic logic, could tell you that doesn't work. But you see what happens with people when, like, when they break the covenant and they start, and sin increases and they start doing idolatry, this is the kind of stupidity you end up with, because that's what happens. It makes them so proud and stupid that they can't even recognise these things, or they try and justify it in some kind of perverse way, which you can't. Right then, I'll just quickly read this Matthew 12. You know, but if you'd have known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice. So go learn what that means. like Messiah told you to, ye will not condemn the guiltless. That's the key, David. That's a whole different video to go into. I'm not touching that today. I'm just the importance of the keeping of the Sabbath. For the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day. Right then. So there again, a second witness to it. And we're going to go into Acts now. You know, again. Well, no, sorry. We're going to go to Mark 16:2. Right. Now here's for you. Here's one for you. I might as well just do this first, actually. Mark 16:2. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came unto the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. So how does a day start at sundown? And like, yeah, let's back it up even more, you know, the point, drive it home. We'll go to Matthew 28:1. I was going to use these later on in the video, but I think I might as well just cover them now. At the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn. How do the Torah people and Judah completely miss that? Never mind Judah, because they don't believe in Messiah anyway, but we'll get into some Old Testament scriptures that will back up this anyway. But in the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn. So you see, the Sabbath is Saturday dawn to Sunday dawn. That's how God reckons his days. That's how God reckoned the days. We're on a different calendar now, so, you know, he'll restore that, like you said, in the kingdom. When the times of restoration have come, this is the refreshing, remember. Right. So we're going to go to 1 John 5:1-3. Yeah. Right. So whoever believed that Yeshua is Christ, born of Jehovah, and everyone that loveth him, that begat, loveth him also that is begotten of him. By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and we keep his commandments. So I'm just driving this point home again for the Christians that say, we don't have to keep Sabbath anymore. I've just given you scriptures there to prove the importance of it. And again, if you're grafted into Israel and it's a perpetual covenant with them, why do you think you don't have to keep it? Oh, because you're wicked, that's why. You think you can have it your own way. Well, you can't. And sadly, if people don't buck up and get into covenant with him, you're going into tribulation and you're going to find out what God thinks of you profaning his holy day and breaking his commandments. So I pray that people listen to this and get in covenant, because I don't want to see anyone go through that. No, I don't want to see anyone. So please just listen up. Because you can only save yourself from tribulation, not your family or your kids. So if you have a family, think about that. Think about it. Because the punishment's terrifying. For this is the love of God, we keep it, and these commandments are not grievous. So again, they're not grievous. What's grievous about the 10 Commandments? to Hebrews 4 now. Right. Let us therefore fear, lest the promise being left of us, of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to become short of. So he's telling you, enter into his rest. For unto us was the gospel preached as well unto them, but they don't believe we have to keep Sabbath anymore, or it's sundown to sundown. Words preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. See, so basically what it boils down to is disobedience means you don't have faith, you don't believe. Because if you believed, you'd listen and you'd do the commandments. And like again, the Sabbath day is it's a blessing. It was made for us. Yet people just go, yeah. Like, that's how wicked the hearts of men are. That they actually think that they know better than Jehovah that created everything, the heavens and the earth, and loves and cares for us to bless us with that day, and people just profane it. For we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said, as I've sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spoke in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and God did rest on the seventh day from all his works. And in this place again, if you shall enter into my rest. Seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein. So we have to still keep the Sabbath, because Paul's saying right here that if some people still have to enter in, it hasn't been done away with, has it? And they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief. Yeah, because as soon as Moses went up that mount, they were like, Aaron, go make us a golden calf. And look what happened to them for doing that. What did he make them do? Wander the wilderness for 40 years to prove them to keep the commandments. So he punished the very people who he made covenant with for breaking it. So what makes you think that you can get away with it? Because you're going to find out in time that you can't. Again, he limited for certain days, saying in David today, after a long time, as it is said, today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. And this is so important. Don't harden your hearts. I can testify to this myself. I did it for so long. Don't do it. Don't harden your heart. Just don't do it. I tell you. And if Yeshua had given them rest, then he would not have spoken of another day. See, so there remaineth therefore a rest to the people of God. So we still have to keep Sabbath. It hasn't been done away with in any manner whatsoever. In this book, it hasn't been done away with. It's just, again, made up lie, butchered. And again, it's just down to people don't want to do it anyway. They'd rather go sit in the boozer. They'd rather go sit down the footy. You can't have your cake and eat it. It's one or the other. For he that entered into his rest, he has also received from his works, as God did from his. Let us labour therefore to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. See, so they weren't allowed into the land for their example of unbelief, which was idolatry. So, you're not going into the land. You're not going to enter into the land if you pollute. If you pollute in the Sabbath, you're not. He's telling you right here, you're not going to enter in. So, what's going through your mind Are you that hard-hearted that you think that God's telling you right here, you're not entering into the millennial reign if you if you don't keep my commandments, especially if you pollute my Sabbath? And people are like, wow, Jesus is my Sabbath. So what day is that then? Right. And you know what? We're going to jump into Acts to push the point home again that, oh yeah, we don't have to keep Sabbath. All right then, yeah. So what did the apostles say to the Gentiles? You know what I mean? What did they say to the Gentiles? Right. Write unto them that they should abstain from pollution of idols and from fornication. So right, that's 2 of the 10 commandments right there for you. So how were they done away with? They're literally preaching them to the Gentiles to keep. And from things strangled and from blood. So that's a rainbow covenant. So that's eating clean. Oh, we're allowed to eat pork. Go read Isaiah 65 and 66. And that's what... The last verse is Isaiah 66:24. Yeshua's quoted in Mark 9, where their worm dieth not and the fire is not quenched. So I suggest you go read that and then go read where all the transgressors against the Lord are going. Might be worthwhile if he's like eating that swine. For Moses of old time have in every city them that preached him been read in the synagogues every Sabbath day. So the 10 Commandments are preached every Sabbath day. So again, there's a double whammy. How were they done away with? If the apostles were telling the Gentiles who they were converting to keep the commandments and keep the Sabbath day. Right, let's go to Hebrews 8. For finding fault with them, so this would back up that we still have to keep, we were in the refreshing. And this is going to prove it right here, because I've seen it the other day on Twitter, how people think ready means it's gone. So if I say to you, I'm ready, have I gone? No. It means I'm giving you a heads up, I'm ready to go. I haven't gone yet. Basic grasp of the English language. For finding fault with them, he has said, he saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I've made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant. As we read in the last video, what did they do? We knew what they did. Even further on in Kings, what they did, they just stopped listening like people have today. Stop listening. And that was the people that the covenant was made with. And if you go read and look how God punished them, those who were in covenant with him, what do you think he's going to do to those that aren't? Or profane it, blaspheme it and say, well, we're going to get to that verse anyway. For this covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord, I will put my laws into their mind and write them into their hearts, and I will be them to a God, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbour and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest, for I will be merciful. Those who want mercy, to their unrighteousness and to their sins, and their iniquities will I remember no more. Right, so people try and take this out of context and say that we're in the new covenant. Well, how are we? If he's like it says, if like the Lord says here, he's put his laws into their mind and written them on their hearts, why people have, like me and my other brothers and sisters, have to go out rebuking people every day for breaking them? I wouldn't have to make this video about the importance of keeping them if they were already written in our hearts and minds, because people wouldn't be breaking them if that was the case, would they? They'd know the Lord. And in that he saith, a new covenant he have made, the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. So it hasn't. So we have to keep Sabbath still. All of the commandments we have to keep. But this is about the Sabbath and its importance. So we're going to jump up to Hebrews 10:29. Okay then, right. So this is for people who think they can profane the Sabbath. This is for both. This is Israel and Judah. This is both houses. This is the Christian church, the Torah movement, Judah, right. How much sorer punishment suppose ye shall be thought unworthy, who have trodden underfoot the Son of God, and have counted the blood of the covenant, wherein he was sanctified an unholy thing, and have done despite to the Spirit of grace. Yeah, see. For we know him that have said, vengeance belongeth to me, and I will recompense, saith the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. So you think you can get away with it? Why is the Lord saying to you, he's going to recompense it to you? Shouldn't that put the fear of God into you, ironically? But they go, no, he ain't talking to us. That's talking to the Jews. Right then. I'm just going to jump into Isaiah 28:12. This is prophecy about, people aren't going to keep the Sabbath. People still think we're in the new covenant. We don't have to keep the 10 commandments. Yeah. To whom he said, this is the rest with ye may cause the weary to rest, the Sabbath day. And this is the refreshing of the covenant. Sacrificial law done away with, just the 10 commandments now, and loving your neighbour as yourself. Yet they would not hear. Yeah, they won't hear. Right then. So this now, to show you that the Sabbath hasn't been done away with. It's a perpetual covenant that has to be kept. Like the 10 commandments haven't been done away with. That's the 4th commandment. So how would the Sabbath been done away with? Basic logic. People listen to the word of God instead of their own imagination, which you're told not to do. Don't do what's right in your own eyes. Right. And now we're going to get into the scriptures that prove Sabbath begins at dawn. Not evening. Dawn. Not that Babylonian tradition they brought back. Read Daniel. Daniel and the wise men were told to teach the children of Judah the ways of the Chaldeans and the language. And they brought it back with them. And it's here with them to this day. Even though the Old Testament, it says in the Old, we're just going to read it. We're going to go to Joshua 6 first. Joshua 6:15. So we just proved that Yeshua rose on the Sabbath day. That's why he's Lord of the Sabbath day. That's why he says he's Lord of the Sabbath day. Not that I'm Lord of the Sabbath day, it's done away with now. So if you believe I'm your Sabbath. Ridiculous, man. It's just, it's scary that people actually think that. I'm too tired to actually rebuke. It's been a long day. So, whoever watches this video, think about that. Really think about that. How stupid that sounds. We just read scripture that completely rebukes that argument, completely does away with it. Look at Hebrews. The rest still remains. It's not funny, but I pray to God that you're convicted through this. As much as it's simple, I haven't gone into any real detail because I don't want to speak presumptuously to you, but the Sabbath is very important. Don't profane. That's my phone going off. Right. Joshua 6:15. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day. So how does a day start? Evening. Right there. Right there. Dawning of the day. Right, let's go into Judges 19:26. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day. The day dawning. Getting it yet, Torah movement? Getting it yet? No? Again, like the Christians would rather stick with their traditions, you want yours. Gone too far to the right hand, Christians gone way too far to the left. Get on that narrow path. Start keeping Sabbath. Job 3:9. Let the stars of the twilight therefore be dark. Let it look for light, but have none, neither let it see the dawning of the day. The day dawning. Oh, and again in Job. For when I lie down, I say, when shall I arise? At the evening when the day starts. And the night be gone. And I am full of tossings to and fro until the dawning of the day. Right then, let's get into Psalms. David, oh, amazing. It's just come up to Psalm 119. I'll tell you, some things happen, you know. I prevented the dawning of the morning. And that's David, a man after God's own heart, telling you, who knew the law, who knew the day began at dawn, you know, and this is Judah, like how highly prestiged he's held, and he's telling you the day begins at dawn. You don't even listen to him. David, a man after God's own heart. Nah, right. And this goes to the Torah movement and to Judah. Right. Micah 2. Video has probably been a bit all over the place. I'm tired. So arise and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. So there you go. You keeping Babylonian sundown to sundown Sabbath. It's a sore destruction. It's going to destroy you. It's not your rest. It's polluted. We just read the day begins at dawn. So where do you get, like, so there you go. I've just given you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 altogether proving that day begins at dawn. A day begins at dawn. don't know, man. I don't know. And to the Christians, look, we're just proving that you have to keep it. It's not been done away with like you think it has been. Like you think you can do Christmas and Easter. Like you don't. You do Sun God Day. Just do a quick Google search and see who changed that. The Day of the Sun. You know what I mean? Quick Google search, and people are on their phones all the time. Basic things. And to be fair, I've seen it in people. Yeah, well, you know, it's all right. Like what? When did God's word say He changed it from Saturday to Sunday? Where does He say He changed it? Like people just making it up, literally just making it up as they go along to suit their own beliefs. And then when you rebuke them on it, they're like, yeah, well, Yah's word backs up what I'm saying. I'm just giving it to you. Your imagination, that's all it is. God don't care for your self-righteous bullshit. Right. I'm going to end it in 2 Peter 1:19. You know, just proven you're Israel, you're grafted into Israel. God's made it a perpetual, perpetual sign between Him and His people. It's the mark of God. So if you're not keeping the Sabbath, you're not God's people. Properly, dawn to dawn, you're not God's people. That's the sign. Not your own sign. He's given what it is. You obey what He says. But like I said, punishment's coming down the pipe. So just please, read your book. Don't even believe me. Read your book. Go search it out. Go look. It's serious, man. But it's such a blessing. The Sabbath day is a delight. It's you know what I mean? To gather with your brothers and sisters, to learn the word, you know, and to exchange talents and to sharpen iron. Beautiful. Praise Yah. We're going to end in 2 Peter 1:19. We have also a more sure word of prophecy, wherein ye would do well to take heed, that ye take heed unto a light that shineth in a dark place, until the day dawn and the day star arise in your heart. I do like that verse, really do. The day dawning in your heart. Honestly. It's just, again, I don't know where people get off. They just completely ignore the word and just go off their own vain imagination. Generations of God's wrath though, innit, you know. Don't. Lying children will not hear the law of the Lord.